Although our camp was not disturbed during the night, I have no doubt that all our movements were closely watched by Indian scouts high on the cliffs above. We were awakened by the cold, which became more uncomfortable as night advanced, and finding it impossible to again compose ourselves to sleep, Captain Bowling aroused the camp, and preparations were made by the light of blazing campfires for an early start for the valley. In our ascent up the mountain, we had apparently met the rising sun. The scene aroused the enthusiasm of the men to a shout of glad surprise. And as the sun illumined the snow-clad and icy peaks, the discomforts of the night were banished by the glory of the morning, as here displayed.
I think it does remind you that you live most of your life with a lot of inessential things that seem essential and aren't.
That's good till midnight, the 6th of August. Have a nice time, sir. Toyota. How are you? Have a wonderful time, sir. Here we are, smiling America, huh?
Hi. How are you?
Wonderful. Have a nice time. It's quite the shirt you have there. Au revoir, merci, bonjour, bonsoir. Now watch with you on the road. The sun is low.
You figured out we've got close to 1,000 cars an hour. You know how many seconds you've got to get across the road before you get run over? Somewhere around a car every 3 seconds.
There's a problem that the Park Service will probably never be able to solve, and that's conflict between preservation on the one hand and public enjoyment on the other. And that lends a certain amount of uncertainty to the future of Yosemite.
People come here because they love the place. Nobody feels indifferent about Yosemite. They really get their batteries recharged. I think you'll see them lying around out in the meadow. But at the same time, they're destroying it a little bit too. People just love Yosemite to death. Had to be a paradise. That's gone forever. That's gone forever.
Every 40th ticket that is issued will receive a free admission ticket to Marine World Africa USA. I've arranged to trade with Marine World, which is an attractive, high-quality operation.
They talked about an international tour booking, and Dan, I thought you might take this to your sales team. That from overseas, they could call an 800 number to every little park in the country and see if there's a package to develop, which you can then market to the international market, or mainly this was the European representatives.
We're at 1,270 employees versus 1,222 last year. That's up 3.9, or about 50 employees, 48 employees. Figures are holding. Current statistics are up 2% over last year. And September figures should be in next week.
Upon my telling Tenaya that we had named the valley Yosemite, his countenance fell, and he left our group to join his own family circle. As he moved off to hide his sorrow, it was clear that he thought the naming of the valley no equivalent for the loss of his territory.
Some of you probably know already that the director has established as the National Park Service's primary theme or thrust for this year, air quality and acid rain.
Which side, the women's or the men's? Oh boy, this isn't the first time. 53. Is there anybody in the bathroom at this time? Thanks, you can clear it out for me. Okay. How's it? Does it just get stuck? Okay. Hey, can you please give us a call if that acts up again, and I'll call maintenance and leave a message for him. Thank you very much for reporting it. You don't want to feed the doe and the herd fawns.
West Valley, there's a fire someplace out there.
Do you know that more injuries in our park have occurred from deer and not bear, feeding the animal? We get a lot of people that want to photograph the deer, that go and approach the deer with food in their hand. And they are wild animals. Deer are wild animals.
No, they don't want to eat chips. They go find their own grass.
And even when you stick your hand out and go like this, you're teaching a deer or a bear to approach you. And that's unnatural for them.
Like we put no tents over there and 3 over here. Is that all right? Is that all right?
No.
It's not.
What you have to do is you have 2 sites. It's 6 people per site when you bed down, when you're sleeping. Cooking is fine, but when you do bed down, we need to have you sleeping in your respective sites.
All right.
I appreciate it.
All right,
okay, thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So on that road that's on the ground broken up?
No, chainsaws aren't allowed in the park, sir. Yeah. Okay, bye-bye.
Sue Clark, 719. We've got some folks at North Pines who are not on the late arrivals list who have a reservation. Could you help them out?
Maybe I could go ahead and put you in another campground if that's feasible. If not, I'll call in and see if we've got an emergency site here. Okay. Will that accommodate you? If I don't have an emergency site here for you, are you willing to go into upper lower rivers or? Great. Okay, let me check. 719-326.
326.
Do we have any EM sites available?
Affirmative.
Preferably Lower Pines.
Can you give me a call?
Copy.
Can you go over to the garage and do a visitor assist break?
We're overbooked here. Okay, thanks.
There's 2 gentlemen over there that were walking back to their vehicle. They saw a bear, got scared, and now they want someone to take them over there.
Okay, I've got an emergency site in Upper Pines 20. What I'm going to do is leave a note here in the kiosk.
Are we all full up? I'm clear that vandalism, weapons incident. Concerning missing 20-year-old female, has been missing about 4 to 5 hours now.
For a vehicle involved in a hit and run NDA.
Looking for her boyfriend who was looking for her. People in site 191. Copy. There has been no call for the ambulance yet.
All units be advised the siege.
I've got a lost little girl at housekeeping. Parents are with security.
And you hold off till we get a request for it.
312.
You got it. We're standing by. That's the spot of this reported injury, right? Okay.
Do you have anybody available right now?
Near housekeeping, I'll be stopping a motorcyclist. No registration displayed. He's wearing headphones as he drives. Give us more. Get a good rest.
313
is clear to stop. Thank you.
Try and find his wallet. I'm going to head back in and try and catch Q.
I'm out of service also. Good night.
Good night, 1700.
The duties of the day had been severe on men and horses. As I lowered my vision to the base of the distant cliff, there appeared the Indians' village, resting in fancied security. In the excitement of the moment, Captain Bowling ordered us to double quick, thinking that the huts could not be more than a half a mile away. On making a hasty search of the village and vicinity, no Indians could be found. But from the generally undisturbed condition of things, it was evident that in the hurry of their departure, they had left everything. Not far from camp, upon posts, rocks, and in the trees, was left a large cache of acorns and other provisions. The acorns alone were estimated from 400 to 600 bushels. The officers decided that the best policy was to destroy their huts and stores with a view to starving them out, and thus compelling them to come and join Tenaya on the reservation. At this conclusion, the destruction of their property was ordered, and the torch was applied.
Just really tripping out and getting high back in them days. We, of course, you know, we're letting our hair go long. Everybody was getting high back then. And, you know, back at Memorial Day weekend, this place would get packed, and 4th of July, I believe it was 4th of July, is probably one of the most memorable times in this meadow right here. We wanted to have a rock concert, and that rock concert, the park police and the rangers were telling us that we really couldn't have one, so everybody says, well, we're going to have it anyway. And we knew something was going to happen.
The next day, Tenaya stood in dignified silence before one of the guard until motioned to enter our camp. He addressed our whole company. It has been a long time since the Great Spirit led a band of his favorite children into the mountains, this beautiful valley of Awani. Here we found food in abundance. The streams held swarms of fish, meadows knee-deep in sweet clover. Great herds of deer roamed the forest in the valley, and oak trees were bending under the weight of their acorns. There was peace and plenty throughout the valley of Awani.
You can hear the reaction of the crowd. The meadow is to be clear at 7 o'clock because of excessive quantities of litter, noise, etc.
As if a sacred subject had been ruthlessly profaned, or the visible power of the deity disregarded, I recalled Tenaya's remark about the Great Spirit providing so bountifully for his people. No doubt to Tenaya, this was a veritable Indian paradise. My mind was drawn away from my comrades, and military ardor subsided, until I became completely absorbed in the sublimity of my surroundings. This seemed God's holiest temple, where were assembled all that was most divine in material creation.
Now, having the opportunity, I have to say it's an opportunity to come back 20 years later and to see this site. And as much history as this meadow has, as I remember when I was a 10-year-old boy being here with my father, and my father would always tell me tales from my grandfather. My grandfather's full-blooded Apache Indian, and hearing all the Indian stories, and I knew a lot of history already as a little boy about Yosemite Valley. I've seen how this meadow had been trampled. I've seen cars, you know, come up in this meadow, and this meadow has been destroyed, you know.
Yeah.
I didn't understand the importance of meadows when I was really little, but now that I've been working with the San Francisco Conservation Corps, I'm proud. I'm really proud. I'm really privileged, man, to be here, to be able to supervise a crew and to work with these hard-working kids that are here to try to restore this meadow. After the growth has taken, like the last couple of days, we've seen frost down in the ground, which is really good because now the plants will go to sleep. And we're going to see snow here. I hope we're going to see snow here within a couple of days. I don't know. We'll leave this meadow alone. We'll leave it to the animals. And at one time, that's what it belonged to the animals. We have to leave it alone. We have to realize, man, that we can't use this place for rock concerts. We can't use this place for hotels, for parking lots. Let's leave it alone and let's appreciate it.
So interested was I in the scene before me that I did not observe that my comrades had